Hi, this is Mike Zellers. In this segment, what I want to do is give an overview of the three main standard technologies that are used on the client side. Each of them has their own role, and to the extent that you can keep these roles separated, you're going to end up with a website, a web application that's going to be much more maintainable. These three technologies are HTML or XHTML, CSS, and JavaScript. HTML or XHTML is used to control the content of the site. And what do I mean by the content of the site? I mean things such as the images that are on the site, the text that's on the site, the headings that are on the site, and so on and so forth. HTML really should just be the content. It shouldn't have really anything to do with the way that the site looks. The way the site looks is controlled via CSS. Now you might say, well, an H1 tag, for example, is an HTML tag. Doesn't that make the text bigger? Well, that's true, but you shouldn't use an H1 tag simply to make the text bigger. You use H1 tag to really indicate what the text means, to indicate that it is a top-level heading. Because you might choose visually to represent a top-level heading a different way. Maybe not make it bigger, but maybe make it a different color or a different font, and so on and so forth. So the content, the meaning of the site should be conveyed via HTML or XHTML. Now the appearance of the site is going to be controlled via cascading style sheets, and via cascading style sheets you can control virtually any aspect of the appearance of the site. You can control size of print, colors, and so on and so forth. You can even control the positioning of elements on the page. Alright. By keeping those two things separate, you can do things such as the CSS Zen Garden, whereas one HTML page is shown in wildly different ways. That's a link that I would encourage all of you to go and visit if you haven't already. The third ingredient to this is JavaScript. What is JavaScript? JavaScript is a scripting language that allows interactivity on a web page. So for example, if you put your mouse on an item, a menu expands. If you put your mouse over an image, a bigger version of the image appears. That's interactivity on the site. All right. Those really are the three standard technologies that are used on the client side. The server, whatever the server does on its side, is really something totally different. But when the day is done, the server is going to return to the client those three code in those three languages using those three technologies: HTML or XHTML, JavaScript, and cascading style sheets. Again, keep in mind that if you can keep those as separate as possible, the more flexibility that you're going to have as far as maintaining your site.